Hey everyone, my name is Zach. I'm a 22-year-old competitive boulderer from Canada, currently living near Frankfurt, Germany. Welcome back to the COMPCLIMB training series, where I record all of my training, provide in-depth analysis of every session, and just chat about climbing with an emphasis on competition. If you enjoy the series, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out a ton. So in today's episode, we're back at Boulder Belt for our spray wall session in the morning and then our workout in the evening. Yesterday we had a couple boulder sessions. We climbed at a studio block and then went and climbed at Boulder Belt later in the day, and it was a lot of climbing, so I was pretty tired. And what I did is I tried to rest as much as I could in the morning today, and this is something I'll do sometimes when I have a pretty intense day of training, and then obviously we have a day of training like the following day. Is I'll just try and like push the sessions as late as they can go in the day. So I think I ended up starting the session around like 1 p.m. or something, and it definitely helped out a bit, especially with like the spray wall sessions when we want to kind of be at our maximum power levels to try like boulders at our absolute limit. And speaking of boulders at our absolute limit, we are trying a new boulder that I made up today. This is not an old project, not a repeat. I think this is like the first boulder that I've maybe second. I think we did actually make up a brand new boulder from scratch like a few spray wall sessions ago, but this is another new one. I just spent a little bit of time before the session started making up like a cool looking project, something that hopefully will take me a little bit to do, and it felt like that's going to be the case after working it today. I was just kind of sussing out the moves, making sure they were all possible, and you can see I gave the first part a couple tries. You start on these really small crimps, and then you go up to this black blob, which has like some holds on it, but I'm using this volume with none of the holds on it at all. And it's this really bad sloper, but it's got a tiny crack at the back of it. So it's got like a little bit of flatness before it hits the wall. So it's almost like this, you can kind of crimp it a little bit, like a really slopey crimp, but it's like all in like that kind of like wrist power. That's like when it almost feels like all the weight's in your wrist, that's what that hold feels like. And now here I have been trying the ending sequence, which is pretty crazy. You can see this move out to this pink edge that I'm trying here. This move is massive. And when you're like lining up this move, from that position, it looks like the hold is all the way over on your left, and you have to really yank up to it. It's a really cool feeling move, and I got to place this really high heel hook that's gonna keep me and help me like compress with the really like this pretty bad sloper. And so here I'm trying the beginning again. Something I find I often like to do in the spray wall sessions is work a boulder from the top down. I feel like I'm less motivated to try it from the beginning if I don't know that the top is possible, because like let's say I make the first couple moves, all of a sudden I'm in uncharted territory of a boulder that hasn't really been forerun. So you can see like in this session I end up spending most of my time on the top of this, and I sprinkle in some ground tries just to like keep my projecting of this boulder engaging, and so that I'm not giving the same tempo over and over again. I've kind of mentioned this before. I like to just go maybe like a couple tries from the bottom, a couple tries from the top, and go back and forth. But yeah, right now we're really trying to work on the top section. So after working this move to the pink silver a few times, I was getting close. I decided to try the ending here, and the ending is pretty crazy. I think this attempt in particular, I do some funky stuff. So when I made this ending, sometimes I'll kind of be like, okay, this hold is probably possible to hold, and this hold is probably possible to hold, but I don't necessarily think about what my feet are going to be doing when I'm making these climbs. So when I stuck this Gaston move, I didn't know what to do with my feet, and so you can see I started to do some crazy stuff. I come up with some better foot beta later, but in the heat of the moment, I was like, oh wait, I don't have any footholds now that I'm up on these Gastons. I guess I may as well put my feet above my head. So yeah, that's where my mind was at. But anyway, here I'm trying the sequence again, and I come up with some better beta. I realized, okay, I can probably just do this high heel hook, and yeah, this pinch is like, it's pretty okay. It's got a bit of a lip on it, so I can match it. But for some reason, I didn't want to take the time to like kind of shuffle my fingers and match and go left-handed to finish, which I'd try later in the session. On that attempt, I decided to cross and do some other funky stuff. I think I was just having some brain farts today on my beta, but it made for some entertaining moves. And so here I'm back to working this move, and another really hard part about this move here, and you can see my left foot just blew. It was a pretty intense fall there. I'm stepping on the face of this black volume. And it's really slopey, and the really hard part about this move is it feels like your left foot is going to blow at any second, and it's all in the biceps. Like your foot is doing nothing for you almost. It's really just you're loading your biceps really hard, and you're yanking all the way over to the left. A really, really cool move. I like I don't know why, but I really like this move in particular. It just feels super awesome to me. I feel like it's pretty unique and it's a lot of fun to work. And it kind of just is one of those moves. Sometimes in the sprawl session, I think I finally stick it here, by the way. Yes, I do. Nice. This move is definitely at my max power level. I find sometimes with sprawl sessions, just because it's sure they're engaging and I love training on the spray wall. It's a lot of fun, like trying boulders at your maximum limit. But sometimes it's not quite the same as just trying boulders that are set for you, like comp style boulders, like with fun moves and like really engaging boulders. Sometimes sprawl sessions can be kind of like sometimes they're just boring and like hard to get like super motivated and psyched. Also, I'm really trying hard on this attempt. I like kind of control the finish there, but I was like, this is the kind of attempt where your eyes are just closed and you're trying not to fall. And I was really not trying to let go of the wall there. And this attempt ended up zapping me, and I had to cut my session a little bit early. It was supposed to be an hour of spray wall session, but I had to cut it just to 45 minutes because of this attempt. I was 45 minutes in, and I tried to work the boulder that we were trying last session. You see here with that we like started projecting on the last session. I gave it a couple tries, but I was so gassed from that last attempt. So yeah, I cut my session early to 45 minutes. But yeah, like I was saying, some spray wall sessions can just be boring and like not as engaging as like a boulder session where you just got all these fun climbs put in front of you and all you have to do is try them. Spray wall sessions can be a lot of work too because the onus is on me to make the boulders possible. And not only am I just projecting these really hard boulders, but I have to tweak them and form them as I go and make sure that they're possible and they're at the right difficulty that I need. And so sometimes they just feel like work and they're boring and it can just be not motivating. But how did I get on this topic? Oh, I guess what I was just trying to say is like that move, like that really cool move up to the pink sloper. Okay, it just looks like it's kind of cool. I mean, you have your heel up and you're doing this move off of undercling. But to me, it really just, I don't know, I found like it was a really cool move. And it got me psyched. It got me motivated for the session. And I found that I have maybe about like 50% of the time, I'll have a spray wall session where I'm like really getting fired up and psyched to do them. And like really psyched during a session to like try the boulders that I'm working on. Whereas like the other half the time, it's just kind of, okay, it's work. I mean, I got to try these boulders that are really hard because it's good training for maximum power. But on this session, I was having some fun working that boulder. And so yeah, I guess moral of the story is during spray wall sessions, try to make fun boulders because it can be more engaging. And then, you know, the cooler a climb or the more you connect with it or the more motivated you are to try it, like just the better quality your attempts will be and the better training you'll get out of it. I guess seems like kind of self-explanatory, but that's something that I kind of re-emphasized for me today in this session. Like when you're doing a spray wall session, you don't need to go like set like a crimp line or like a pinch line. Try to make the boulders fun and engaging so that you are motivated to try really hard. So anyway, that wrapped up our session. Cut it a little bit early because I was given some super try hard attempts, and then it was a couple hours of rest. Came back home to do the workout today. The weather looked like it was going to be fine, and since it was late in the day as well, I wanted to kind of be at home so that I didn't have to travel far after my workout was done. And so we're doing our hangboard. We're still at our 6 sets of 1 rep and 5-second hangs. And so I'm doing 110 pounds again today. I did this weight on my last session when we were at Element, and it felt pretty comfortable, and it also felt pretty comfortable today. Usually what I'll do with my weight jumps when I'm like really getting into my maximum territory, which like is probably around 120, 130 on the small beast maker edge, like 110 is kind of getting near there. I'll do 2 sessions at a weight before I do a weight jump. So this was my second session at 110. So that means next session, maybe we'll go to 115. Or if I have like, obviously when we cut down to like 2 to 5 second hangs, I'll probably do a jump there as well. So hangboard felt really solid today. And so the pinches, we're just doing 68 pounds, same as last session. Still not really pushing our heaviest pinch, but like I've kind of mentioned before in the past as well, pinch block kind of fluctuates a lot more for me than hangs do. Like I can find like I'll be doing 68 one day and then I might have this crazy good day where I can pinch 80, which kind of happened when we achieved 80 pounds in our first COMPCLIMB series. That was kind of like a one-off. I was having a bunch of bad pinch block sessions leading up to that, and then all of a sudden I just pinched 80 pounds. It's kind of weird. But yeah, pinches went okay today. And then later on we did dips at 80 pounds. I did a 5-pound increase, and that was pretty nice. And something, I read a comment the other day, kind of asking about my warm-up, and I guess I haven't really talked about my warm-up either. It's nothing super special. Actually, in the past, I used to have a much more in-depth warm-up before every boulder session, or any climbing session, like spare wall or bouldering. I had like a whole 45-minute ground warm-up that I used to do with I think it was like 6 different mobility exercises. Maybe I'll make like a separate video kind of going through these exercises. And this was, I kind of did my mobility in this warm-up as well, so it wasn't just like dynamic warm-up. I also took the opportunity to work on my splits and work on some other like shoulder mobility stuff. But then as I just like over the years, my schedule kind of got busier and I was like traveling more and stuff, and I actually kind of ran out of time for this super long warm-up. And so nowadays I've kind of trained my body to just be able to boulder to warm up. So all I do is let's say right before a boulder session, I get to the gym, put on my shoes, and I boulder for 15 to 20 minutes, which is like pretty quick. I'd say I definitely warm up really fast compared to most people, and then I'm good to go. And then basically as soon as my warm-up's done and I start my timer for the session, that's when I start filming like a boulder session. And yeah, well, and then like let's say it's like the second boulder session of the day, the warm-up will definitely be faster. Like I could probably warm up in 10 minutes if it's session 2 of the day, and then all of a sudden I'm ready to start trying hard boulders. Hangboard is different though, actually. I train my body to be able to warm up on the hangboard, so I just kind of gradually hang on a big edge, hang on a smaller edge, and then work my way down, and then I put on a bit of weight, hang on the small edge, put on a bit more weight, hang on a small edge, and I do like maybe 4 increments of weight, and then I start my maximum hangs or whatever weight I'm doing for the session. And yeah, so that's kind of like my warm-up routine. Anyway, that wrapped up today's day of training. Tomorrow's rest day, and then we'll rinse and repeat. See you then.